Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So it is another Sketchy Tuesday. I'm super excited about this one. And before I jump into the topic, I will tell you a little bit about what I'm working on in my sketchbook today. So I'm working on a sketch of my friend Julie, and we went to the Renaissance Festival together. It was a lot of fun. We had a really great time, and we all dressed up as fairies. We made our own costumes. It was really cool, and we took a bunch of fun photos, as you do, and I thought this was a beautiful photo of her, and I thought it would be really fun to sketch. It was just so pretty, and I love fairies, so I was like, hey, let's do that. So that's what I'm going to be working on in today's video. It's multimedia, mostly watercolor with some watercolor pencils and gouache as well. So let's jump into the topic. So as you probably know from the title of the video, this was a very frustrating piece for me to work on. I had a really difficult time with it. When I first sat down to draw, I was actually planning on working on my video that is using all of my watercolor pencils. If you haven't watched that, make sure to check it out. And essentially, I really was having a hard time drawing. I felt like my hands weren't working properly, and I didn't want to be in that place when I was working on such a large piece that I was really invested in. So I decided to take a moment and do some warm-up sketches, do like a little warm-up sketch. And I thought, oh, well, hey, I'll film that for Sketchy Tuesday. So here we are. And it didn't get any easier right away. So I picked out, like, the picture I was going to work on, and sat down to try to draw. And those days where you're just like, I've forgotten how to do this. I have absolutely no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. Why am I an artist? How am I able, it's like all your ability to draw, all your muscle memory, all of your hand-eye coordination, your motor skills, they just drop out of your head. And I'm really hoping I'm not the only artist with days like this where you're just like, what happened to my ability to draw? Like you suddenly feel like you've dropped back like 10 levels. And I think those days are normal. Sometimes you're just having a rough day and your skills just aren't quite keeping up with you. And that's kind of what I was dealing with when I started working on this. And so the first, I would say, at least half of this picture, I legitimately hated working on it. Like, I was frustrated. I didn't want to do it. I felt like everything was looking bad, and I really had to work on my mental state during it to really calm down and to push myself through the hard parts, and to know that as long as I kept pushing and kept working, that I would eventually loosen up and figure out my rhythm and kind of go back to, where I feel like I'm normally at, and, eliminate that feeling. So I think this is something that we all deal with, this frustration of why can't I draw today, or feeling blocked, feeling, struggling and things like that. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this video, like the days that you're just like, I can't draw, because I think we tend to think, oh, it's about our skill. It's about like our hand movements and our eye and stuff like that when we're having days like that. It's like my skill has dropped, but your skill has not dropped. It's, in my opinion, it's a very mental issue. Whether it's that you're not feeling prepared, whether you're just feeling tired, you're feeling a little bit off, you're feeling a little bit anxious. There are a lot of things that can get in the way of your ability to draw. And so I think your mental state is so important when you're sitting down to start drawing. So pay attention to your mental, your mindset when you're starting to draw. If your mindset is telling you, I am really not able to focus on details right now, then try a different tactic. Don't try to focus on details right now, While I know that art is therapy for a lot of us, I think it's really important to have a semi-positive and semi-calm mindset when you're going into art, especially on days when you're just like, I can't do this. It's really important to take a few deep breaths and try to establish a positive mindset before you go back into what it is that you're doing. When you're frustrated and you feel like your art isn't coming out the way that you want to, or that you just can't do it, that you've lost all your skills, it's really important to be kind to yourself and speak to yourself as if you would a friend. You wouldn't sit there and tell your friend that they suck, that they can't do it, that they've lost all their skills and they'll never get them back. You would never tell your friend that. So don't tell yourself that, because the moment that you start telling yourself that you can't do it is the moment that you start believing that, and you're not going to be able to create your best work when you're doubting yourself constantly. So try to speak to yourself kindly. Use good, if you have to speak out loud, speak out loud. But try to be kind, say things, like, it's okay, you're just having a rough day, you need to warm up your skills today, like it's just taking a little bit longer to get into the flow of it. Try doing things like that, because it can really, really help to just be kind to yourself and accept that it's okay if this doesn't turn out the way that you want it to. If it doesn't turn out the way you want it to and you really love the concept, you can always try again later and improve next time and learn from the mistakes that you're making this time. And you can't create good art without first creating bad art. So give yourself the permission to create something that might fail. And I think that relieves a lot of pressure when you're feeling like things just aren't working the way you want them to. So another thing that I found helpful is, there's two things and they're polar opposites. And it really depends on what your mind and your state is telling you. So the first thing that you need to do, in my opinion, when you're struggling is you want to try to push through that. You want to really, really give yourself the time to warm up your skills, create bad art, create messy art, create unfinished art. One thing that you will have to tackle if you want to continue in art, whether it's in school or as a profession, is you have to learn how to work through the tough times, whether that's that you're not motivated, that you're blocked creatively, or whether it's that you are just having this issue where you're just like, I forgot how to draw. You have to learn how to push through those things, because you have deadlines in school, in work, and you just have to deal with it. Now, that said, if you have tried so hard to push yourself through it and it's just not happening, you're getting progressively more and more frustrated, you need to walk away. Learn when it's just not going to happen. Learn when you need to take a break, even if it's 15 to 20 minutes. Go meditate, go read a book, go take a bath, do something to calm yourself down and put yourself in a positive mindset. If you have a deadline and you have to come back to what you're working on that night, that day, you can't take a little bit more time off from it, then at least take 15 to 20 minutes just to reset your mindset and try to go back into it with a really much more positive mindset, because I really do feel like so much of the issues the artists face, whether they're feeling like your hand is just stiff and not understanding why, feeling like you can't get things to connect, a lot of it is really related to your mental state, to your mindset. So those are kind of some of the things that worked for me, and I wanted to chat about it because I have talked to some musicians and things like this, and I know this is a common thing. Let me know down below if you've ever experienced this and what your tips are for getting through it, for pushing yourself through it. I also did some wrist exercises, and that kind of helped me feel like my arm was loosening up a little bit, which can help. And gesture drawing, I know doing some gesture drawing, very loose gesture drawing at the start can help loosen you up. And I do find it is very useful to do warm-ups beforehand, especially when you're having those days. So what do you think? Do you think that it's all just your mindset? Or do you think that some days you just forget how to draw, and it happens and it's okay and you deal with it? What are your kind of methods for handling that? How do you tackle the days that you just forget how to draw? Or do you not have those days? Have you never experienced this? Do you consider this the same as art block? I don't, because for me, I still have these creative ideas that I want to accomplish, but I just don't seem to have the ability to put them on the paper the way that I want to, and even the way that I was able to do it like the day before or the week before, and that can be very, very frustrating. And part of it too is you just have to keep up your skills. The more that you draw, the more that you practice, the easier that it will be and the less that you will experience that. And I know that from personal experience. I actually had taken a little bit of a break from sketching before this, and I think that was one of the reasons that it was harder for me to get back into it. And it was a sign for me that I really need to make sure that I'm dedicated and focused to sketching every day and getting back into that, because when I was sketching every day, that was just so important to me. And over the last week or so, I've let that slide a little bit just because of work stuff, and I definitely need to get back to it. So let me know what you think about this down below. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this topic. And I hope that you liked this piece. I had a lot of fun doing it after the initial frustration, and I quite like how it turned out. I added some metallic paint towards the end on her cheeks because she was wearing glitter, and I think it came out so pretty. I love using metallic sparkly paints. It just makes me so happy. Like, all the glitter. Please give me all of the glitter. But if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. I do upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. And I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.